Hi, everyone.
Hey, witches. Okay. So Emily has been unpacking her house or her apartments last night
Yes.
and today.
And after this, and so on and so forth. We got it yesterday. We got it Saturday morning at technically the truck was here at 7 a.m., but we had to wait until the helper got here. So it was like 8 a.m. before he actually started unpacking the truck. And I'm sitting there like, come on. I
Just
get up
bring
at
it in here.
right. I got up at 6:45 so I can get dressed and frown until you bring my crap in. Jesus. Anyways, okay. Whew. Okay.
Chapter 17.
What a
Yeah.
whirlwind we've gone on.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So I have something on 173 right off the bat. It's a huge ordeal for me. So what's your first page?
173.
Oh, perfect. All right, you go. Mine's long.
I'm just like I said he's probably right. Nesta needs to be occupied. Like
Oh, yeah.
I feel like giving her a task and something to make her
Feel
productive. Yeah.
wanted. Yeah.
Yeah, and needed.
Because what's happening right now? What happened beforehand? Was this like a couple of days? Wait, what? Hold on. I'm so far ahead. I'm like trying to. Okay, so they're talking about war and what's needed,
Yeah, and about Nesta fixing the wall.
and oh yeah, so this is like her initial asking, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Um. So basically, Faye is talking about like getting Nesta involved and not wanting either one of them involved, and it's like okay. I understand that, like in Akatar, where you didn't want them involved because you're involved with this. You're here, you're everywhere, you're like they're not involved yet, but now that they got taken prisoner, you involved them,
Right, they're involved.
and now they're Fae because of the choices that you have made, which no one can plan that. But like, I understand not wanting to put Nesta in harm's way, but like, she should choose. She is a grown ass woman.
And
She
I
was,
love that was it the last chapter when Amryn said, "You're acting like Tamlin?"
yeah,
Yeah, like, it's so true, like, you can't just decide
facts.
for her.
Right. And it's like, what else do they have? Like, she might be the only way, and at least Cassie wants to use it as an excuse to get her out of the house. Like,
Well, and, like,
it's
Feyre's big thing was, um, "Let me help my people, like, I know they're not my people anymore, but let me help them." Why would Nesta not feel the same way? Like,
right.
"Hello, Feyre, let her help your people."
It's like, I know she doesn't get along with her dad or anything like that, but like, people there don't deserve that or
Right, and
deserve
they had
her
friends
fate.
there, they had I
Yeah.
mean, Elaine had a fiancé, like
And she is so upset with everything because of what happened to Elaine. So it's like, nah, she's definitely going to like participate.
right, it's crazy.
Whatever. Anyways, I'm just so annoyed with her petty bullshit right now.
Yeah, I get
Um,
that, like, yeah.
yeah. And then on the next page, she's literally um, like talking. Um, what is it? Where is it? Mm, oh, so uh, I literally was questioning like everything that was happening. Like, why is Cassian doing this or why is Cassian doing that? And he's just like, I made a promise to them. I don't think like she'll ever forgive me for what happened to them uh at Highburn, and like not that he's the root cause of it all, but he does feel like he didn't do enough to save them
Yeah, he says, "I made her a
after.
promise, and when it mattered, I didn't keep it."
Yeah, I don't think Nessa will ever forgive me what happened in Highburn to her, but mostly to Elaine. And yeah, he's got a great point there.
Yeah, And then on the next page, or well, at the bottom of that page, Feyre says, "Why do you bother Cassie?" And on the next page, he says, "Because I can't stay away." And I'm just like, "Oh,
Yeah.
like
It's like,
I love that."
I think there's a bond.
Yes, I think so too.
I think we're just getting hinted. I don't think it's set in place. Or maybe he knows, like maybe he has felt that bond, but he knows how Nesta is and he doesn't want to like do
Push.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think he's just waiting. He's
And
a
maybe
general.
Nesta
He
knows too.
knows.
Maybe that's why she's such a bitch about it. Like she
Yeah.
might have felt it too and it's just like, "No."
Fuck that. She hasn't formally rejected it, but she also hasn't acknowledged it.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and I think, I mean, Cassian's a general. He plans and delegates when and what is needed to be done. So I think he knows something more that no one else knows, and he's just going to wait until like the opportune time to actually do it.
Yeah.
But um on that same page on 175, literally, I think, I don't know, I feel like Farah thinks every single person is attractive until she gets like that one person.
Yes.
It's like he is so hot and he is so attractive. She's
Yes.
plain looking, but he is so handsome. Look at that Faye like body. And it's like,
Right. He'd
girl, what
always
are
had
you
a
doing?
casual grace about him, but here tonight, like
He's so attractive. I
handsome,
know. And it's
powerful, a
like,
bit rakish. Girl.
right. And it's like handsome, powerful, mannered, elegant. And it's like,
Adjectives.
seriously. And it's just so funny because everyone's kind of like casual. Like you have what he's wearing, you have Feyre and fucking basically leggings and a t-shirt and slippers, and then you have Amryn and what she's wearing. Then you have fucking Moore in a red gown, and then everyone else is super simple. And he's just like, "What is the dress code?" Asking the important questions. It's like, I'm with you. What is the dress code? Like, nobody makes fucking sense. She's like,
Right.
whatever we feel like.
Whatever makes you comfortable, you know?
It's like, why do you have to say whatever we feel like? Like, what do you got to pause, make it dramatic? Just feel like, just do what you're comfortable. Like, be comfortable
Yeah.
with that. God.
Oh, and then they're getting ready for this dinner, and I just love Nesta. Like, she, because Moore's like, it's lucky we're not the same size, or I'd steal that dress. And Cassian's like, likely right off of her. And Nesta just kind of looks at her and is like, fortunately for you, I don't return the sentiment. Like, what fucking savage? Like, I love her.
And it's like, at least Feyre made a comment. It's like, well, her outfit is like, by human standards, quite revealing. It's like,
Right.
yeah, okay, I see where she's coming from. However, but like, here's the thing though, on that same page, she's like describing the room and like where everybody is. And what is it? Oh, at the very top, she's like throwing a glance over my shoulder at Reese, who was perched on the edge of the dining table, flanked by Az and Cassian. Listen, every single time I see perched, all I can imagine is like Reese crouched like a bird.
Yes! Like with his feet on there and his hands like a gargoyle on the roof kind of shit.
Yes!
Yes.
Caw. Just having his like bat wings like flare out like whoo, like a shutter.
Oh my gosh.
So like
Yes.
I'm just imagining her in like pajama pants, essentially slippers and like an oversized white tee, and then him just over there being a fucking raven, fucking crow, like whatever, bat.
Oh my gosh.
All I can imagine. It's like, man, what a fucking dinner. No wonder Lucian's like, what the hell is happening? Same.
Right.
Oh God, that's great. Anyways.
Oh my god. And then I love on the next page, Nesta and Amryn are so much alike.
Oh,
Like,
totally.
I love their
Well, and they're
banter.
basically made
Yeah,
the
and I
same.
like how Nesta's not like she doesn't know any better, so she's not afraid of Amryn. She's like, "Why do your eyes glow?" Like,
I would
And
be that bitch to be like, "Same."
right,
What
and
oh, yeah, I would be that stupid person.
Amron's like, none of these busybodies have ever asked me that. And those busybodies were trying not to look too concerned, as was I. Um,
I feel
and
like
then
she'd give warning shots before she would, like, flare up.
yeah. Well, and then she actually answers her. She's like, they glow because it was one part of me the containment spell couldn't quite get right. The one glimpse into what works beneath. And Nesta says, and what's beneath? And the others are like, oh no. Like, oh
I
shit.
wanna know too. Answer,
Uh,
answer.
they never dared to ask me that either. Why? Because it's not polite to ask and they're afraid. I
True.
love it. And like Nesta doesn't even flinch. She just keeps her
She's like,
gaze.
"I just wanna fucking
Like,
know."
right, right. Like, okay. But like honestly, I feel like in her mind the worst has already happened. Like they've already been changed into Fae. Elaine is already super depressed. Like what else does she have to lose right now? What else could they take from her other than just killing Elaine? Like
Right. I like it too, on 179 where it was like Aaron Aaron's literally talking to her about like what she is. She's like, we're the same, you and I, not in flesh, not in the thing that prowls beneath our skin and bones. But I see the kernel, girl. You did not fit the mold that they shoved you into, the path you were born upon and forced to walk. You tried, yet you did not, could not fit. And then the path changed. I know what it is to be that way. I remember long ago as it was. And she's like, I don't know what you're talking about, to Nesta. And Aaron's like, when you erupt, girl, make sure it's felt across worlds. And Reese is like, Aaron, it seems, have been taking drama lessons at the theater down the street from her house. And she's like, I mean it, Reese. And he goes, okay, well, I'd like to eat something before, you do something to make us lose our appetites.
yeah, I love it. I love their banter. And then Lucian, like the only place left to sit is at the head of the table and he's like,
He flips.
uh he's like, I shouldn't you sit at the head? And Reese is like, I don't care where you sit. I only care about eating right now. Like and it's just so different from what Lucian's used to that it cracks me up.
And I'm sure it's not anything different than what he like witnessed in the autumn court.
Right. Well, and like I just feel like sitting at the head of the table is another one of those posturing things that doesn't fucking matter. Like w-
To be
why?
quite honest, I'd rather be in the middle of the table. I feel like that's a little bit more
Right.
powerful because then I can like look both ways and see everybody and I could hear everybody.
And I can reach everything. Like I
Yeah.
yeah.
If I'm sitting
I
at
don't
the
know.
head of the
The
table,
only thing the nice about sitting at the head of the table is having space, I guess. Like
yeah.
there's no one sitting right next to you so you can spread out, but
Yeah. Other than that though, I'd still rather sit in the middle. I can
yeah.
reach and talk and be a part of all the conversations at once and
I agree. And I feel like
I'm
that's probably Reese's reason if you really dug
yeah.
into it.
Not that he really needs it. He's got Fey hearing. He could probably hear people from
True.
like across the but human reasoning. That
Right.
makes sense.
And I
Um
wrote on page 180, which is the same thing that we were just talking about. Like it's just culture shock, I feel like.
yeah.
Because Pharaoh's like, you get used to it, the informality. And
She was
um
definitely concerned and confused the first night they went.
yeah, she was. And so like it's culture shock and he's just getting used to it.
Yeah.
But I feel like assuming that he doesn't do something stupid, Lucian could really fit in well with the Court of Dreams. Like he just needs to
I feel like he's an outcast himself, which is basically what everybody
what they
else
all
is.
are, yeah.
Yeah. Despite like having a place at the Supreme Court. I mean, he originally was an outcast.
Yeah, and even at the spring court, like, he doesn't quite belong. Like,
Yeah. You can
he's
tell he's different.
he's Tamlin's pet. Like,
Yeah. I would and a lot of people be like, well, he is his friend. No, I wouldn't really
no,
go
Tamlin
that
doesn't have
far.
friends.
Tamlin's a fucking narcissist.
Yeah,
Narcissists don't have friends. They have themselves and that's all they want.
right.
um I didn't write anything down, but I just kind of read it, and I think it's hilarious because it's this kind of like Lucian's already out of his element, but then he's like hearing the banter between everybody, and it's just like so informal, and he's just so confused. But it's um, like he's literally sitting in between everybody talking, and they're talking about like who's all coming and who's this or who's that. Um, are we training tomorrow? Kind of stuff. And he's like, I'd say dawn, but since I'm feeling rather grateful that you're back in one piece, I'll let you sleep in. Let's meet at 7. And then Feyre's like, I hardly call that sleeping in. More is like, for an Illyrian, that is. And he goes, daylight's a precious resource. She's like, we live at the night court. And then Cassian's like, I told you the moment we started letting females into our group, they'd be nothing but trouble. And Reese is like, as far as I can recall, Cassian, you actually said you needed a reprieve from staring at our ugly faces and that some ladies would add some much needed prettiness for you to look at all day. And then Aaron's like, pig.
I just love them.
And so
Like
it's like, and then they start like going after Azrael because he's like, I was young and Lyrian and didn't know better. Don't try to blend into the shadows. You said the same thing. And then Moore's like, no, he didn't. Az has never once said anything that awful. Only you, Cassian. Only you. And then he stuck his tongue out at Moore, and then Moore returned the gesture, and there's Lucian like probably jaw open, like what the
right, like,
fuck?
what the fuck is happening?
Where are the knives? Like, am I about to fight? Like, what is it? Love it.
Oh my gosh. And then so on page, what is it, 180 to like, oh, 182, I mean, to 183, they're talking again about Feyre and her powers and how they need to keep them a secret because, or Lucian is saying all this
Yeah,
because
and at least
they'll
he
kill
wants to
her.
protect her.
But like she's
Baron
like your
specifically.
yeah, well she's like your brothers already saw me. Like maybe the fire they could have thought was your power, but the ice like they know that was me and I still think that instead of trying to kill her, they'd try to use her. They'd try to like
Oh,
marry her off to Eris
yeah.
or something like that. I don't think they would try
Well,
to kill her.
Eris straight up was like, "You're gonna take my hand, and if not,
Yeah.
like you're gonna come anyways." Like, too bad. Like he already made that threat. Like we already know
Right.
the intentions of the Autumn Court, whether Baron was a part of it or not.
Yeah, and I don't think that they would kill her because they're not going to get their power back if they kill her. That's not how it works. Like,
He has his power. Like it's
right. Uh,
whatever.
yeah, I just yeah.
You know, something that I want you to consider.
Me?
So on page 183, I just want you to think about this because it'll come up later. And I just caught this, and I think that's the nice part about like rereading this. I can catch little things about it, um, whether you want to reread this or not, so you can like witness it too. But whatever. Basically, so Moore's talking about Eris and talking about like what he thinks will be more useful knowing about Feyre's power, and Feyre's like, I wondered if Moore looked at the red hair, the golden brown skin that was a few shades darker than his brother's. He has 6 brothers, and his skin is darker than
Hmm.
the other 6. His skin is darker than the other
Interesting.
6. So it's like, why not the other 6?
What?
Like,
Right.
Baron, do you know where your wife has been? This ain't a
Right.
fair. Yeah.
Hmm. And like, is that
And
why Tamlin took him in and why Tamlin is so nice to him?
I don't know. That I don't know. Um, yeah. So it's like, yeah,
Interesting.
do I look at the red hair and the few shades darker than all his brothers and still see Eris, the eldest brother of them all? And I'm like, oh, few shades darker. I never considered that.
I didn't think about that either till you just said it.
I know, right? It's like
Interesting.
because it seems okay, I don't know. Because the night court, you have a lot of like more tan people or like tanned skin of some sort. But like summer court, they're basically all dark. They're all
Right.
dark. Um, I feel like winter court is probably going to be pretty
Pale.
pale. Autumn, I feel like would probably be pale.
It
Maybe
seems that way, right? Like
right.
they're
Like
all redheads. Like,
right. Well, and then they talked about when she met Lucian's mom under the mountain, like
yeah.
looked just like Lucian, but like pale and elegant and female. And it was like,
Right. You're right, though. She does mention the difference a lot. Like,
yeah,
just like Lucian, except for pale, and
yeah,
just like
like
his brothers, except for darker. Like,
right.
hmm.
Yeah. So think about that for later
It
chapters.
is something to think about. Hmm.
it literally fucking blew my mind when I reread this. I was like, "Oh, it makes so much sense because it,
I
like,
feel
all
like
it ties in later on, and then you're just like, jaw dropped.
I feel like if I ever do reread the series, like, it's gonna have to be one of those things where I sit down and force myself to read the first 2 books so I
No.
can reread the later books. Or just
That's
skip them, I guess.
the first one at least.
Yeah. Maybe the
Oh,
audiobook would be better. I could always
true.
listen to them.
There's a lot of people on Facebook, in, like, the Bitchy Bookworms Facebook group, like, when
Mhm.
they talk about, what is it? When they ask about ACOTAR, but they're specifically asking about, audiobooks and how the scenes, like, the steamy scenes are with, like, the voices. It's like, is it cringy? Is it weird? Like,
Right. Didn't
do
even
they get
think about
credit?
that.
Like,
I didn't even think about that. Now I kinda wanna listen to it just to find out.
right? I feel like I'd be like, "Ugh."
The only thing is I usually listen to audiobooks in my car, so, like, imagine somebody walking by my car and them talking about the steamy scenes. Because I know you
His
can
head
hear it on the outside of my car.
his head in between went in between my legs as he laid in the car,
And he
bright
barked.
on loud. He was perched at the end of the bed. He roared out.
Oh my god, I can't even.
All these people be like, "Dude, is this like like an animal porno? What the
Right,
fuck
like,
is
"Are you
happening?
okay?" And they're like, "Should we call the police?" I don't
Is this like therapy?"
what's going on here? Alrighty then.
Oh god, that's great. Anyways. Oh my god, that was just the first chapter.
Yeah, so at the end of that chapter, I was like, "Another meeting? What meeting is he talking about?" And then the very first thing I wrote on the second or on the page 184, the big very first page of chapter 18 was, "Oh, ew, not those bitches."
Yeah, they're all coming, Tamlin
Because
included. Blech.
they well, no, they need to go to the Court of Nightmares.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the court or like the meetings with the High Lords.
No, because Reese at the very end of the last chapter was like,
Oh,
"There's
that's
another
right.
meeting that needs to be had and soon." Like, they need to go meet with, Kier at the Court of Nightmares, which bleh,
It's gonna be an
bleh.
right? This would be kinda cool though because before Feyre played the whore, and now that she's
Right?
playing,
The
is she
High
gonna walk in
Lady.
as a high lady, or is she going to play a different role, or how is this going to
Right.
happen?
Right.
Oh, hoo, hoo.
And which I guess we don't really know this yet, but they're gonna take Nesta with them.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Ooh.
It's like, this is what the world sees. This is not who we are. I think that's kinda like trustworthy. Like, yo, look at this.
Right. Also, again, because we're recording separately, I can't see what the timer says, so you're gonna tell me when it's time for break.
Okay, it's 22.
Okay. Oh, so we'll
23. We got 2
get through
minutes.
this chapter. I have a lot written for this chapter too, but that's okay.
I don't. I actually had a lot more written for the last chapter than I did this one.
What the fuck
See, I
does that
always start
say?
off like strong with a lot written, and then I like dwindle down towards the end.
Listen, if I read in the morning, I write a lot. If I read at night, I don't write very much at all
I'm
because
ready
I'm a
for
morning
bed.
person. Yeah, I'm a
Oh,
morning person. So like when I'm up in the morning, I'm like, yeah, like my brain is firing, I'm
mm,
good.
mm.
But when I read at night, I'm like, I'm ready for bed, I'm tired, I just want to be done. So I don't write as much.
I am definitely not a morning person. I'm definitely a night person, but at the end of the night, like my brain's fried from the day. I don't want to do anything where I have to think. If I think in the morning, then I think I'm more motivated to do something. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I
Okay.
if I don't wake up and read, I'm gonna struggle.
Yeah.
All right. So now they're talking about Court of Nightmares and going down there and doing another meeting because they have to get the Darkbringers.
Okay, yeah, and they're kind of divided right now. Like the Court of Dreams is kind of divided. Some of them are like, he's not
Do we
gonna help
really need
us. He
them?
said no
Yeah.
so many times. And I'm just like, so you're not even gonna ask? Like, this affects him too.
And
So,
perhaps he will be annoyed with how many times you're asking.
or maybe
Persistence.
he'll be intrigued by Nesta or show him some of what Feyre's got. Maybe he'll be intrigued by that. Like,
He might
use
just be
your
like,
strengths.
yo, what
Right.
if he knows about Valaris and he wants access?
Oh, well, I don't know.
Hmm.
But like also they're looking at it, the Court of Nightmares has refused to help twice, but it wasn't Kier. It was somebody else.
Yeah,
So
so
like
it's like, really?
right, I realize he's a dickhead and everything, but you're not even gonna ask?
And I feel like Kier knows better than to say no because, like, not that he said no before, but I feel like he's made comments that was like near, I'm not going to do that. And then he ended up doing it because
Right,
he
and he
was,
fought in the war. Like,
does he want to do that again? Probably not.
but also I just feel like I know it's more that doesn't want to ask him and is like he's gonna say no. And I'm like, she's got a lot of trauma there, so maybe she needs to not go. Like,
Right.
I,
And then that was offered, and then she doesn't take it.
right. I don't know. Um, Next thing I have is on page 186, and I don't know what I was
Uh,
talking about.
I had some on that, and it was basically just about like the entire scene that was coming along because it was just kind of comical. Um, uh,
Oh, I remember what I was talking about now.
oh, I basically was just saying how comical it was because like they were just arguing about it, and then they were trying to be like lighthearted, and then all of a sudden she's like, "I just want to fly. I just want to learn how to
Yeah.
fly."
That's what I wrote. Well, that got their attention, and that's what I was talking about. Because all of a sudden, she's just like, "I want to learn how to
And then
fly,"
Moore spews all her wine across Az's like face and chest, and
but
he's
Az is
like
like,
gawking, like, "Oh."
"Like what?" Oh my gosh, yeah,
And then Cassian doesn't know if he should like join Az in gawking at her or like laughing.
yeah.
And Lucian's like, "Well, that explains the wings. All right, got it."
And then Nesta's like,
Oh,
"What wings? What wings? What are you talking about?"
your
It's
sister
just
can be
like,
fucking scary looking. Like, don't worry.
right, like just
The
wait.
claws and all.
And
That's
then
funny.
like I said, I keep forgetting Azriel's story because he's like, it's gonna be better for me to teach her than either Reese or Cassian because they learned when they were little and it's different learning something when you're little, just like languages. Like
Oh
it's
yeah.
easier to learn something when you're a small child and still forming than it is when you're older. But Az didn't learn how to fly till he was older because his dad was the douchebag of the year and kept him locked up and shit. So he's gonna understand better.
I
What?
had I had a great idea. What if we did like a small little like break segment or whatever, or even like like a small episode on rating the dads of Akatar and how much of a dickhead they are.
That would be a good one.
Because I feel like every single one of them, except for, I mean, I would still add Farah's dad, obviously, but like, I think it'd be funny
I
to
just
like
had
rate
a
them.
really random, really good idea for a break, and that's figuring out the Disney counterpart to all of the characters because I was thinking Disney dads
Yes.
suck too, and then I was like, oh, Disney characters. Anyway,
I was gonna say what Disney dads, but then I should really have said what Disney moms. There's like really no moms; they're all
right?
dads.
They're all dead.
Anyways,
All right.
just like
Okay.
everybody in this one, everyone's fucking dead. All the dads, it seems like.
Right.
Okay. I don't have anything till page
Um,
189.
I had something on 188, but I don't know what I was talking about. Oh, they just throw everything at Nesta. Like
Oh yeah,
they don't explain anything. They're just like, "You can fix
talking
the
about it.
wall. Here you go." Like they just throw everything out at
Have
her.
fun.
And for her part, she just takes it in stride. She's like, "Okay." Like she just goes with it.
Right. And it's like at that point, Feyre's finally asking her, like, do you want to help? Are you able to like would you like to do this? And it's like, see, Feyre, see what happens when you actually just, talk it out and ask
Right. And
instead of
like,
just keeping them in the dark. Like she's literally being Talon by keeping her sisters in the dark by not explaining
yes.
anything.
Because that's what happened to you, Favor. Like, why would you? And I get that instinct to protect. I get it. But
You literally fought so hard to get away from Tamlin and now you're just being Tamlin.
well, and have you ever been lied to? Like, You know how it feels. So why would
Yeah.
you? Because I would much rather know and be hurt than find out later. Because now, not only am I hurt by what happened or what you're keeping from me,
Now I'm fucking pissed.
but I'm also hurt that you lied to me. So, like, I would rather know everything and have all the information because you can't make a good decision without all the information.
Right. Well, and then Feyre had the fucking audacity to be like, why don't you just tell the whole High Lords what happened to you and your trauma? It's like,
Why don't you?
yeah, like seriously, it it's literally like telling a rape victim to tell like the entire legislature, "Hey, I was raped. This person should get a sentence."
Right, and not
Well, I
everyone
don't think you
is
were raped. I
comfortable
can't
or
trust
strong
you.
enough to do that. Like,
Right, and it's usually the people who are comfortable or strong enough. It's been years since it's happened, and they've gone through therapy, and they've learned to deal with that trauma appropriately or in their own way that they are able to speak about it. It's been like a fucking month and a half, maybe 3. You
right,
weren't
and like
able to do
Elaine is
shit.
still destroyed. Like,
Sh Feyre wasn't able to do shit like this after
no.
Under the Mountain, so, like, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I do feel that Nesta is a stronger person than Feyre.
Oh, for
Like,
real. For
on
real.
many, many accounts, like, mentally and physically, I feel she's a stronger person. But,
If only she would train.
yeah, well, you know. Maybe if somebody other than Cassian would offer, she would.
What about that one over there? As as you?
Right?
Yeah. You think she's maybe using that to like piss him off? Like, ooh, maybe she knows about like maybe she does know about the was it the bond and she's just trying to piss him off.
It could be. I could totally see that being Nesta, like,
I would
yeah.
fucking do that.
Right? Like, I could see
I'd get a
that
kick
being
out
the
of it. I'd
case.
be like I would be that horrible person. I'd I
And then
just
going on with, like,
I'm horrible.
what you said about, like, her trying to get her to tell her whole thing, and I was just like, "Let it go, Feyre, like, it's her story to
Yeah.
tell." Like,
She has a point to not want to tell anybody.
right.
And it's funny because it's like, then it is not my problem if you're unreliable. I'll help you with the wall, but I'm not going to whore my story around to everyone on your behalf. And if you even dare suggest to Elaine that she do such a thing, I will rip out your throat. And it's like, yeah, she's got a
Yeah,
point.
that's
I
fair.
don't blame her. You shouldn't have to
Yeah.
whore out your story for anything. And it
Mm-mm.
is. I mean, it's true. It's your fault why so many people find you not maybe I'm not unreliable, but like not truthful.
Yeah.
I get
And
you have your reasons, but
again, it's her story. Like, you can't force anyone to tell their story or to share their story before they're ready. And why? Like, just shut the fuck up, Feyre. She gets on my
and it's
nerves.
like I don't see why you shouldn't bring it to the table, like being like, hey, if you feel comfortable, like maybe telling them the story might help them do that,
Right.
but that's not choice, but it's up to you if you
And
want
when
to do
she
it.
says no, then you let it the fuck go. You don't keep
Right.
arguing with her.
All right, cool. Let me know if you change
No
your
means
mind. Let me
no,
know if you want to
Feyre.
talk. Yeah. You should fucking know that of all things. You whore. Anyways, okay.
Oh my gosh. And then
Um,
on my next thing is on 192.
same. Go ahead.
I just like they are in a real true relationship. Like, they both have done something that they think has made the other one mad, and they like
Mhm,
apologize and
mhm.
discuss it and work it out, and I just love it.
And I think I mean I basically comment on the same thing. I really like that he is assuring her that he is okay with her pushing him.
And calling him out.
Yeah,
Yes.
because it's like, okay, that's called communication. If you don't like something, then telling him that he will be aware. But it's like I understand that's probably trauma for her because of what Tamlin did, like never allowing her to push. Because if she got pushed or he pushed her or something like that, she would get shut down or get a library destroyed. I mean, or a study destroyed. I
Yeah.
mean,
Fucking
trauma.
psycho.
I get it.
I also get her point though of wanting to have a united front to the outside world.
Yeah,
But I like that he's like, "Okay, but amongst our family, call me on my bullshit." Like,
right. Well, and I get that too because in the spring court, it's like you don't really need a united front. Like you beat whoever you needed to beat. Like you have the united front. But
Right.
here, when you're trying to convince the other courts that you're not horrible, I get
Yeah.
that. Okay,
Yeah.
whatever. At first, I was like, all right, now you're kind of starting to sound like Taylin. But
Right.
then I thought about it and I was like, yo, okay,
Yeah, like
I
to
get
the
it.
outside world when you're trying to like
Convince
get
people.
yeah, but
Mm.
um
All right, break time.
yeah.
All right, fun fact for 7/31/22, which is the day that this episode is going to air and the day that we are actually recording.
Recording.
um, it's George Jetson's birthday. So in
It's
40
the
years,
day that he is born.
yeah. So for any youngins out there who do not know who George Jetson is, it was a cartoon in the
Late 80s,
sometime.
early 90s. I watched
I
it
don't
when I
know.
was young, so 90s.
I watched it when I was young too, but also it was on like one of those channels that was like
Yeah,
oldies because like the
I'd probably
Flintstones
say
were on
late
it.
80s. Yeah.
Okay, I'll just look it up. Jetsons cartoon.
But
Um,
it was set in the future. Like it was supposed to be futuristic. So it was set in the 2020s. George Jetson was the dad in this.
2062 is when it was set.
Yeah. So George Jetson is the dad. So he's like 40 years old in the show.
Mhm.
Um, and they have like a robot that cleans their house. What was her name? Rosie. Rosie the robot, I think. They have a flying car. They live in this like super hyper futuristic world. And it's so funny that he is supposed to be born today because, like, honestly, we could get there by then. Like, we could have, I mean, we already have like iRobot vacuum cleaners and shit. Um, like,
We have robots that clean your windows.
right. Like, we could get to the point in the next 40 years where we have Rosie the robot who's like your
Well,
robotic maid.
and that's what she was. I mean, she was the maid. Like we're already there. We
Yeah.
just have to
Well, right. But she was
get
just
up
one
there,
robot that did everything
right? We just gotta.
versus
I think she was also like the nanny too.
yeah. And she wore this
One.
creepy little French maid costume.
We'll post a picture of that. But God, that's funny. Anyways, it was first episode was 1962. I was gonna say my parents watched
Oh,
this.
really? Okay. I
My
didn't
mom
realize
was
it was
born in
that.
62. She remembers watching this on like TV. My dad
So
does
that's
too.
kind of funny. Like they thought in 100 years we're gonna have this, this, and this, and like we are getting there within the next 40 years. I mean, they have flying cars now, not flying cars, but they have um
Automatic cars.
well, and they have
And
hover cars. They're not
yeah,
like widely sold, but they exist.
I think they're still in like prototypes age or
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, I mean, I thought yeah, that's pretty cool. But
And they had
um
didn't they have a robotic dog too?
yeah, I think so. I'm trying to
Which we already have
oh,
those.
yeah, well, no, it wasn't robotic, but
Oh,
his name's Astro. I
yeah,
mean, he
that's
might have
right.
been robotic, he just doesn't look it based on the pictures. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I watched it and it was like I watched it on like Cartoon Network
Yeah.
on like Saturday mornings. It was only specifically Saturday mornings. I remember waking up, my dad would be at work, my mom would I don't know, be downstairs smoking a cigarette, something. I don't know, something that you would do in the 90s in front of your children. And she would make me like a bowl of cereal or like the cocoa Wheaties or like it reminds me of like porridge, like
Oh,
oatmeal,
yeah, okay.
but it's like rice. I don't know.
It's like the hot cereal kind of thing.
Yeah. But it was like cocoa Wheaties or something like that. And um or we get like McDonald's or something like that. And then I'd literally sit there in front of the TV and just watch fucking cartoons.
Right, and it would be
Uh
like the oldie cartoons, it'd be like
yeah, it'd be like her generation of
Flintstones.
cartoons. Yeah.
Yeah,
Tom and Jerry, Bugs Bunny, all those things.
Elmer
And then
Fudd.
you can and then late night you could rewatch it on Cartoon Network, but it'd be on Cartoon Network would change to like Boomerang.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, nostalgia. Man, I was hanging out with a couple of castmates that are like 20 and 19 and They aged me. We're sitting there, and all of a sudden they just look at me and they're like, "Emily, when did you feel like you were an adult?" And I was like, "Oh." I was like, "Yo, I'm 29. I feel like I should be an adult right now, but I'm also feel like I'm just about to be an adult." She goes, "You spend big girl money. You got a big girl job. You do big girl things. Like you're about to do like a huge move. Like you're not like nobody in your family like pays for anything for you. Like it's all you." And I was like, "Does that make me an adult? Am I an
Right?
adult? I
Like,
think
when
technically I
what
am."
makes you an adult? Like,
Right, like, what age? So, it was just weird, and then she was like, "Do you ever remember the time where you were, like, thinking about, yeah, that could be me?" Because she's like, "I'm literally sitting here saying, 'This could be me one day,' like, looking at you," and I was like, "It's really weird you say it like that because I literally am sitting here reminiscing about being that age thinking I will be there someday." So it's like you're
right?
wondering, I'm reminiscing, but then I can reminisce about the time where I thought I was where you were gonna be. And I like
Right.
went back and I was like,
Right, like, think about being, like, 13 and, like, "I can't wait to, like, move out." Like like, "I
yeah.
can't wait till I can drive."
And oh my God, it was just, I was, uh my brain was like melting. Like the concept of time was just, I was about to spiral. I swear to God, if I was like inebriated under anything, like I would have fucking rolled on the ground and stayed there because I wouldn't know what to do with my life. I'd be
Oh my
so
god.
confused. I couldn't move. But yeah, it's just really weird, like
We were
reminiscing about all
talking
of that.
at work the other day. The My assistant director is, a couple years older than me, and one of our employees, one of our teachers is, I think she's 20. And we were talking about different cartoons and, like, children's shows. We were talking about, I think it was Bananas in Pajamas, and she was like, "I don't know what you're talking about." And then I was like, "Big Comfy Couch?" Oh, no, it was Lamb Chop. It was Lamb Chop. Do you
Oh,
remember Lamb Chop?
lamb chop scared the fuck out of me.
I loved lamb chop. So one of our students has a lamb chop that she carries around, and I was talking about it, and she was like, "It's just a sheep. Like, I've never heard of that." And I was like, "No, it's a show. It's lamb chop." And
That was
she was
huge.
like, "I've never heard of that." And then I was like, "Big comfy couch," and she didn't know what big comfy couch was.
Did you get on the floor and actually do stretch?
I should have. I don't think I even could. But yeah,
Like it's just
like
like this.
I was just like, "Oh my gosh, what is happening?"
Yeah, and it's just so weird. Like, I'm sitting there, and of course, I'm one of the older people in this play. So I'm like thinking all the cast that are like 16 to 20. And I'm sitting there like, what the fuck? How old am I? And they were just like,
Right?
yeah, remember when this came out? And I was like, do you remember when that legitimately came out? Like, that has been out for years. That came out when I was like, okay. So I'm sitting there and I was like, do you guys remember Vine? And they're like, Vine, what's Vine? And I was like,
That
you don't
wasn't even
remember?
that long ago.
I was like, you don't remember Vine? And she goes, yeah, what is it? I was like, okay, you know how like TikTok became a thing? Like you were the first generation for TikTok. And they were like, yeah, what about it? And I was like, I was the first generation for like Vine
And
and
Vine was
Dub
only like
Smash.
4 seconds long.
Yeah, and I'm like 6, I think it was 6. It was a 6-second
Yeah.
video, and I was like, I was the first generation for, like, Dub Smash. I was that generation, and they were just
Right.
like I
Right,
was like, "Oh my god, there's 9 years in between us. There is fucking 9 years
like,
in between
Facebook
you
came
and
out while
I."
I was in high school, like
Yeah, and I'm sitting there, I was like, "Yo, I had MySpace, like, I had my own website. I was coding at the age of 12. I
and they
was."
don't even use Facebook anymore, really, like
Yeah, no, I literally asked somebody who she was the main character in my previous play in Anne Frank. She was Anne, and I was like, "Hey, do you have Facebook so I can like add you and we can like keep in touch when I leave?" And she's like, "Facebook's for like old people." And I was like, "How dare
right?
you?"
Like,
She's
Facebook
like,
I remember when Facebook came out and it was only for college kids, like, you couldn't join if you
"Yeah.
weren't in college, and
Yeah,
then,
because
like,
you had to legitimately give them a college email or
email, yeah.
something. Yeah.
You couldn't join unless you and then, like then they opened it to everybody, like, while we were still in high school. Because I remember having it in high school, my mom was like, "No, you can't have it," and I was like, "Okay." And
Mom,
then
I have MySpace. Watch me.
when I went to college, I was like, "Okay, mom, I'm getting Facebook because everybody has it, and that's how you stay in contact." And I just took mine off of hidden because I had hidden, I already had it. But it's
And
crazy.
yeah, well, and then I looked at her, I was like, "Okay, then do you
Instagram?
have social media?" She goes, I totally have Instagram." And I was like, "Oh, okay, that's fine.
Which Instagram
Whatever."
is actually owned by Facebook now, so get off your high
Yeah,
horse.
that's what I said. I was like,
It's
"Girl, you."
better.
I was like, "You do realize you have a Facebook profile?" But that's fine,
R
whatever. Anyways, back to the original break. Also, it's Harry Potter's birthday.
Yes, we would be remiss if we did not say happy birthday to Harry Potter.
Happy
He's 42 this
birthday.
year.
And, Will got
Harry
up this
Potter's older than
morning.
we are.
I always thought Harry Potter was my age because I always thought, like, it actually came out, like, the year that it actually came out, like, Harry Potter was 11 when I was 11, like, the year I was 11, but really it was, like, the year I was born, he was literally saving fucking Hogwarts and killing
Right.
Voldemort, and I was like, "Oh, nope,
But,
never
like,
mind."
as the books came out, like, the books came out when we were about 11. So,
Right, and
like
I don't think it ever actually stated, like, the years.
mm-mm.
So I was just like, "What year is this?"
Yeah.
So then
But
when I
it makes
started.
sense that it was set older because, like, they didn't have cell phones. Like, even
Yeah.
in the Muggle
Well,
world, he didn't have a cell phone, like
and I was wondering that. I was like, "Why does nobody have cell phones in here?" And I was like, "Oh, it's probably because, like, Harry's parents wouldn't let him have cell phones or something like that." And I didn't even oh my god, I didn't even notice, like, the cars. I didn't notice how they dress, like, nothing. I didn't even pay any attention to, like, societal norms at that time.
right.
And when I started playing, I mean, I knew it, but I don't think the full power of, like, what happened really settled into me until I started playing Hogwarts Legacy or something like that. Hogwarts, not Legacy. That's a new game coming out.
I know what you're talking
Hogwarts.
about.
What I don't know. It's like some app. I can't remember. I have it. The fuck, I can't remember. And Hogwarts. Fuck. What is it? I don't know. Hogwarts Mystery. I think is what it is. And literally, they were just like, "You are a freshman or you are a first year student at Hogwarts." That and like 3 years prior is when Harry fought Voldemort. I was like, "Oh, cool. So we're after Harry." But no, it was talking about like when he was a baby. So I literally, if my character would be like 50 right now, she was like 11. My character is 11 when Harry Potter was like a year old. So
Well.
I was like, "What the fuck?" Then that's when it hit me. I was like, "Oh, that would make
Yeah.
sense."
Well, and,
Well,
like,
everybody.
in the Muggle world, they would have cell phones and stuff like now, but, like, they explained that at some point. It might have just been an interview or on Pottermore or something, but they said that all of the magic at Hogwarts interferes with the cell phone signal, so they say they can't have cell phones at Hogwarts. But they
Right.
don't
And
even
so
really fucking need them. Like, they don't need them.
no, no. But anyways, in honor of his birthday, I unknowingly got a butterbeer coffee with a Hermione sticker on top. And you know what? I bet you that's why. Oh my god. I bet you that's why. Will's like, "I
Yeah.
got you a surprise." And he's like, "Look, it's Harry Potter, blah, blah, blah. It's a butterbeer." And I was like, "Oh, that's so cool." I'm fucking stupid.
I
Oh my
bet it is
god.
because it's his birthday.
Thanks, Big B Coffee. It's delicious. You have a stupid ass customer. Anyways, god damn it. We got 10 minutes left.
Oh my gosh, are you serious? Well,
Yes.
I have a
All right.
lot written for chapter 19, but we can try it. No, we can
Yeah.
probably do it. I just have half a page. We got this.
All right. We got this.
We
We
just got
got
through
this.
3 chapters in this episode. It's fine.
Fuck. We need to plan out our breaks. That's the problem. We literally sit there before we hit record. What are we doing for a break today? We get a general idea and we're like, all right, bet.
Okay, well, next time let's pick like 3 characters to see we're wasting even more time now. But let's pick 3 characters to find their Disney counterpart for next time. And we'll
Ah.
do that after we stop recording.
Okay.
Chapter 19.
Okay.
Page 198. First page. Um they've just woken up and Feyre's like, I'm gonna slowly wake up Reason, slowly sweetly wake him up. And I just like morning sex grosses me out. When I wake up in the morning, I am sweaty, I have morning breath, I feel disgusting. My face is oily. Don't touch
You
me.
know,
Morning sex is
I've
not for
often
me.
I often question that. Like, I feel like it'd be great. Like, I would probably enjoy it. I think why I couldn't get past would be morning breath
Right, like, I just
from other
well,
parties.
I literally sweat so much when I sleep, like, every night. It doesn't matter how cold it is in the room, I sweat. So, especially being in a same-sex relationship and the way that we usually have sex, I'm just like, "Don't even fucking think about it." Like,
Don't
I'm
get
sure
near me.
that everything is stank nasty. Don't touch it. I don't do it.
It's in the middle of
Maybe
summer.
morning sex in the shower, like,
There you
maybe,
go.
but
Get up
don't.
early, go shower, and then come over and be like, "You're right." Yeah.
Right, but, like, no, don't fucking touch me when I just woke up.
Here's
Uh-uh.
the funny thing, I I just don't get it. I don't get it. It's like, don't you guys have bad breaths? Like, maybe y'all don't because, like,
Ooh.
they eat certain food and, like, America's so fucking unhealthy. Like, Matthew McConaughey doesn't wear deodorant because he doesn't stink. Literally because of the food he eats does not make him stink. Like, the oil
Mm,
that he I was like, "Why don't you wear it? What is your fucking reasoning? This better be a damn good one." And it is. I mean, if you don't stink, why bother wear it? I
right,
mean, I smell, Will smells, and so we were like, "Well, we're fucked." Like, okay. But
right.
it's nice because Will doesn't have a sense of smell, so, like, my nose is high. I have to smell everything, like, something's wet. Is it dog pee? Is it cat pee? Do we have a leak? Like, what is it? So I'm smelling everything. So it's like my nostrils are fucking dog nostrils. I smell from miles away.
Oh, no.
Slowly but sweetly open turned him on.
Yeah,
And then he's
no,
all
thank you.
ruffled and like sun kissed in a way on the way to dropping her off.
Gross.
And he's pissed. Cassian is testy.
Oh my god, Cassian is pissed.
And I don't understand where this came from. Like literally what?
Okay, well, and, like, I'm just like, this was your whole plan. You literally had to put her in danger. What is the difference if she's just your High Lord's mate versus your High Lady? Why does it matter?
And why are we
And
having this conversation right now? Of all
well,
places, at all times.
yeah, and then he's like, "You being his mate makes you his, and I would still protect you with my life for that, but you being my High Lady makes you mine." And I'm like,
And here's the thing. He was couldn't move. So doesn't that automatically
right,
default to your generals?
right. There's nothing you could have done anyway. I just don't get it.
I just don't get why we're having this conversation right now.
Right,
It's been a
like,
month and a half. Like they literally made that comment. It's been a month and a half.
and then I guess he is like Reese pulled the same shit 50 years ago when he went to that damn party Amarantha threw, and Fair was like,
Yeah.
"Oh," but still, like, mm,
Gryffindor energy right there.
yeah.
Gryffindor fucking energy.
The next thing I have is on page 203. We're actually getting through this really quickly.
Yeah. I actually got a couple of things on 201.
Okay.
And this is like prime Gryffindor energy right here because it's like she's literally they're talking about what to do, when to do it, and like her ideas. And he's like, anything could have happened in the Supreme Court. And she goes, if Reese isn't grilling me with the overprotective bullshit, then I don't see why you. And it's like, all right, yeah, Gryffindor, like people can
Right.
fucking worry about you too. And then he literally sits there and he goes, don't for a moment think that Reese did not worry about you, did not do any of this, did not do any of that. Like, just because I hate when she assumes they don't worry just because they trust her. You can trust somebody and be fucking like worried about them. That's not what parents do. Parents trust you
But
to
I
make good
think that
decisions.
that's part of her, like, trauma from her childhood too, because she didn't
True.
think anybody cared about her or that she mattered other than as their food source, like, when she was
Right.
younger.
Yeah. But it's, yeah. So it's just really frustrating. It's just like, okay, they have told you time and time again that they trust you and that they're worried, but they've
And they
proven it
care
to you.
about you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's just frustrating. Anyways, 203.
203, yes. Nesta. Where's it at? She's like, it doesn't look like you're exercising anything other than your mouths because
She's too good.
they're trying to get her to join them. And
Cassian's
then
like, are you scared?
I'm trying to find where I wrote. where what I wrote down is. Um.
I love
Oh,
Nessa's
why
comment.
should I be scared of an
Yeah.
oversized bat who likes to throw temper tantrums? Fucking
Yes.
yes.
She's too good. She's so
I
fast on her
fucking
feet.
love her. Oh my gosh. And then Feyre like begs Reese to come get her and save her.
And then he's like, "Don't worry, I sent you another attractive male to look at." Oh, Reese, how thoughtful. And
And
it's
Az
Az.
shows up to take
Yo,
her to start her flying lessons. But at the bottom of that page, on page 204, we're barking again. Neither of us missed Cassian's barked filthy curse. Why?
fuck.
She does barked so much, and I'm just like, "Rawr, ruff, ruff." Like I'm just imagining like a chihuahua bark. Like, oh my god.
Oh my god, that's another one. These characters are dogs.
Oh my gosh. Yes, it's like dog breeds. I
I
like
see
it.
Cassian as a pit bull. Call it
Oh
now.
my gosh.
Anyways, um, yeah. So Az comes and takes care of her, doing all that, and
So I like this
so
because
they're
I feel like we
talking.
see a lot more of Az's personality come
Yeah,
out.
I
Like he's
love this.
like, "Eh,
He's like playful, but
in order to
like
fly,
quiet
you'll need
about
wings."
it. And she's like, "Oh yeah, well, it's
All
been a
right.
while. Do you want me to turn around?" And
Oh
then
my
she's like,
gosh,
"No, but
yes.
it might take me a few tries. We started our lesson early. We got plenty of time." And it's just like the
And
way
then
he
she's like,
stares. Go ahead.
"Oh," she's like, "Are you ready to meet with Lucian this afternoon?" And he's like, "Should I be preparing for it?" Just like
No, I
he's
don't.
just so sarcastic, and I just love it.
And then she's like, "Well, when do you gather information on the High Lords?" After I talk to him. Oh, okay. He knows I'm buying time. Got it. And I feel like
Right?
talking to Az is like talking to some scary person with like emotionless eyes. Just yep,
Right?
yep, just staring straight at you.
Okay.
And uh, for like the people who watch anime, I not that I imagine as this character, but like the eyes, the like way he talks to people is like I'm very intelligent. I'm so intelligent. I don't have social skills kind of shit. Um it reminds me of L from Death Note, like the anime, not the stupid ass Netflix edition. Uh but it's just like very straightforward, eyes straight ahead, just staring at it, like no emotion whatsoever. And it's like, this guy could be terrifying. He fucking summons the shadows. Like that
Right?
shit's scary. It's like, oh god, terrifying. Anyways, and I just think it's funny because it's like, I know you're buying time, and I'm just going to humor you until you follow through with what I've asked you to do.
I also like that this is like not only a flying lesson, but also kind of a culture lesson. I didn't write this down,
Yeah.
but like he's like, it's telling her, it's inappropriate to touch a female's wings without permission. Um,
And
don't let your wings
I
drag on the ground. Like,
and it seems like weak. And I really like that because it does give you kind of like, for Illyrian women, they literally have their wings cut off. So like, what's the standard for them? Like, what
right?
should you not do?
Yeah.
So
Well,
like
and just
that's
yeah.
so it's I don't know, and I feel like we're seeing a whole new side of Az. Like we're actually getting to know his character, and we're actually getting to see who he truly is instead of just like a shadow bringer. Like we know his history, know his past, but we don't really know him.
Right.
We don't know how he cares for people. We don't know how, like, we see how he acts, but like, is that truly him? And I think seeing him as a teacher and actually,
One on one too, I think helps.
yeah, all the attention's on him. And I think it's a lot easier to see that.
Yeah.
And I really like Az. I think he's a good
I do
character.
too. I do too.
Ugh, I love him so much. Anyways, yay, 3 chapters.
Yay. All right. Well, I guess we're not gonna
We
have to
need to
read
plan
much for
better.
next week.
Yeah. Fuck.
All right. Oh, I also have some news, podcast family, that I'm going back to teaching. I'm leaving
Yay.
kindergarten. I got offered my dream position, so I'm going back to teaching in like 10 days. 16th. The 16th is the first student day, but I start in 10 days.
I just think it's
So,
nice because you're going back to the school that basically got you started in education. It's like full
yes.
circle.
Yes, it really is. Like I
And
started
I hope
out
it's
as a para
everything you've
there.
ever wanted.
I hope so too. But, like, I
The
started
real
out as a
kiss to the
para
top.
there, and I went back to school specifically because of the teacher I'm gonna be working with, like and my dream position was to go back, like, and work there with her, so yay!
It only took you 3 years to get back. That's
Well,
fine.
I had to wait for the position to open up, and that teacher that was in this position decided to move on, and, she's found a different
Yeah.
position with a private school district, um, well, I don't know if it's actually is TC Harris private?
Uh,
I
no.
don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway, she found a job at a different school district, and I get to go back and have my dream position. So we're gonna see how it goes.
I feel like that school isn't even like a district. I feel like that school is for those with like really, really
It's for
deep,
behavioral and
yeah.
emotional issues.
Like when I worked for child services, we had some students over there, and it literally is like a childhood prison.
Basically, like they live there. It's
And when
yeah,
you walk in, you have to shut one door to get through like a next door. Like it's literally like a prison. I was
yeah.
like, this is fucking terrifying. I don't care if you have behavioral issues. Like, this is probably
It's
why you got behavioral, well, at least for those who are like somewhere, uh, have like some disability somewhere. Maybe not
yeah,
like the actual behavioral assholes, but like
right. Like
not
they also have special education students there, but for the ones that
yeah.
are actually not special education students and are there, those ones are
The at risk could be in jail, prison, kind of like child exploitation kind of
yeah,
cases. I think that's the part that's like a jail cell. And of course, those are the kids that I always had to talk to. I never actually talked to the disability students.
right.
So, oh well. Anyways, thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Till
Bye.
next time.